Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another XFL interview brought to you by Fourth and Long. Today, I am so honored to have the kicker from the DC Defenders. We got Tyler Rausa in the house. So then you went on to play at Boise State for a few years. And then you were on the inaugural DC team. You were the kicker for the DC Defenders most recently in 2020. So what's it been like going from college to trying to find a way into professional football? Then you get your chance at the XFL. What was that like?
Coming from junior college, it was almost as challenging as coming out of Boise State. Trying to find a way to, get to the Division I level and knowing where you should be at the same time and, trying to find a home. And it wasn't until about halfway through my season at Riverside where I was able to finally get on with Boise State and sign with them and kind of figure out where my path was going from there. And then from Boise State did well and figuring out, kind of what path to take after Boise State because I got some looks with the NFL and kind of did arena after that and was just trying to get as much film around the NFL as I could and then, come in with the XFL, you hear it coming about, and I got invited to a showcase, and, the first two drafts went by, and I didn't get drafted. And it wasn't until 2 weeks before the season went where I actually got picked up by the XFL, and, it went from there, but it was such a roller coaster from there because I didn't think I was going to get there. And then finally at the last minute, I get a call and all of a sudden I'm in DC.
Now, that's crazy, but can we talk about the actual trial for a second? Because you were there, it was supposed to be you, maybe some other people, and Chad Ochocinco was supposed to be there to kick for the Defenders too. So, what was that whole thing like?
So I went to
of course he did no show, but
so I went to Houston, and that was where I had to do a workout with them, and it was me, two other guys, and was supposed to be, Chad Johnson. And, they kind of made the workout around him. And so he goes out and about saying, hey, I want to kick in the XFL. I want to get my career back on, and I want to be a kicker. So, and then all of a sudden I get a call, hey, you're going to Houston, work out with the XFL. And I kind of talked to DC a little bit before that, and so I was just like, all right, like, let's do it. And then of course all the way up to it, I'm hearing all the hype about Chad Johnson. People are sending me videos, and I was expecting a full circus to get there. And we show up, and one of the guys who runs the XFL, Eric Galco, pulls up, and so the three of the four of us are there, and Chad Johnson's not there. So we're kind of asking, like, hey, where's Ochocinco at? And he's just like, he asked to bring kind of his entourage, and we told him no. And, well, he didn't want to show up after that. And I believe the night before was I think it was the Conor McGregor fight. And I can't remember who he fought, but
that was Donald Cerrone
with Conor McGregor. Yes. And he walked with Cerrone. He walked with Conor McGregor.
That's
and
right.
So he was like the night before. So we almost kind of figured like there's no way he is showing up if he's at this fight with Conor McGregor.
That's ridiculous. I mean, but to be fair, he might not even been the biggest competition because you can't forget about one of your competitors, PFD Commodore Eric Sullenberger, trying to get his whole thing with the Defenders. So, what was, I mean, to be honest, from outside looking in, it was pretty comical, and it looked like he was somewhat serious, but as a legitimate kicker, what was that like to you?
So, I was not there for that.
Okay.
So
you were able to avoid that?
So I was able to avoid that. And he needs to, get good stuff, and it was a good, it was a good thing for the XFL, and it got a lot of people to kind of pay attention to it more as well. And yeah, I mean, kind of from there, it was, you know, he did his thing and that was about
it. What'd you think about it, though, personally?
I mean, whether he was doing it for views, or he was, you know, maybe that was something that he was actually trying to do, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a guy either following his dream or continuing his dream with, you know, in the sporting world and getting views for Barstool and all that, which he did. So either way, he accomplished what he wanted.
Very fair with that. And then, I mean, the XFL as a whole, it was this brand new league. It's stepping in, a lot of changes going on. They were trying to almost revamp the game of football to make it, you know, they're trying to break away from the old 2001 version, the XFL, the Extreme Football League, and that whole mess. It's a really brand new league, a lot of traction, actually. But there's a lot of real changes, such as especially in the kicking game of it. So they're changing kickoffs. They're changing the onside rules, and they're also changing PAT attempts. So as a kicker, what was it like having to deal with those rules with the new kickoff, them kind of eliminate your onside kicks and your PAT attempts? What did you feel about that?
I mean, with the kickoffs, I understood because, you know, it's been a little bit and they've been wanting to make some sort of change to it, and they've been trying to. And I thought it was interesting, and I kind of liked, you know, what they did with it. As far as the extra point and everything like that, I think it just made the game more fun.
So you didn't like take
offense
offense
on the
or
field
anything?
More, gave it a little more action. No, not at all, because it has. I mean, it really had nothing to do with kickers. It was just, you know, people want to see more scoring. They want to see more action. They want to see tackling, big hits, great catches. At the end of the day, people aren't really going to pay a whole lot to see, you know, a kicker kick it from, you know, 25 to 40 yards.
Yeah.
So no, there is no offense taken that. It made the game fun.
I really I love that response because I mean, you kind of admit that it was really cool. Like, it did change the game. A 1-point, 2-point, and a 3-point, especially as the league went on. You see teams like the Houston Roughnecks down there, they were killing it with their 3-pointers a lot of times. So that I did really appreciate the rule changes. I thought the kickoff was the best way you could compromise between, you know, changing from taking away the contact but still having the kickoff. But was it weird lining up completely by yourself on the other side of the field?
No, not entirely. I mean, you almost had to look at it a different way. It kind of reminded me of arena football a little bit, especially the arena league that I returned. I never, basically I went for the uprights, and if you put it in an arena, it's called a deuce. There's 2 points.
Yep.
So I kind of treated it like that, where I had to get it beyond the 20-yard line, and I had to, you know, you had to place it. And, you know, it wasn't anything more than that. The more you simplify it, the easier it is.
Fair enough. I feel like the kicking game, it's almost best to simplify but best as possible. Trying to, you know, stay out of your own head and, you know, just seeing some stuff, and which you were able to do. You were one of the most successful kickers in the XFL. You know, 9 for 11, really solid percentage with your first game, your first like any sort of football or like your first professional game. I mean, you nailed a 54-yarder in your first game. That's no small task. So that was impressive for sure. And then also you can have the name, or you have the claim that I scored the very first points in XFL history. So what's it like to be able to tell people that?
I can claim a bar trivia question that if in the future it ever is, which I don't know if it is or it hasn't yet, but I can claim the first points.
That's just fun. I mean, I guess part of the fun stuff about a new league was going to say, oh, this is the first time ever for like the first week of anything happening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then one of the better parts about the XFL that really kind of showed the way the fans supported it was the whole new levels of interactivity between fans and players, where everyone mic'd up, cameras everywhere, instant reactions. So, what was it like being in this brand new kind of environment where you're surrounded by cameras and live mics? Was that different? Was that new? Was it exciting to be a part of?
Different that first game because I make the first one and then I go out the second one and wasn't successful in that second one, and right away I had a mic in my face and was it was very new to me, especially mid football game because I've never had a mid football game, but it was something that I had to do. I had to kind of face the music, and I think for me it bettered me a little bit because I got a little reality check right there that, yeah, hey, I'm here, I'm doing well and all that, but I need to get to the next level and I need to up my game and I need to make the next kick. It definitely it humbled me a little bit, but it was it was fun.
And I do remember that that interview because everyone was like, "Oh man, they're really grilling this guy." Misses a kick, and they immediately put Mike into his face. And I gotta say, you handled it very professionally. So that was a impressive first test. And then also,
Yeah, no, you just again you have to take the punches.
exactly. And then if we want to talk about DC for a bit, because the DC very well might have had the best fans. We all know and love the coveted beer snake. So, what was your reaction to being this brand new team and having this fan base that really showed out from week one and all the way through week five? And so, what was it like being able to have these crazy fans from the get go, having that kind of support there in DC?
Oh, it was crazy fun. They definitely are what made the games, and they're one of the reasons why we had home field advantage. And as far as the beer snake, it wasn't until about 3/4 of the way through the first game where we were like, they are building something with all the cups right now. You have people from all over the stands wanting to bring their beer cups to this, and it went from bottom to top after the first game, and then all of a sudden I think there was a bunch of trademarks that went in for it, and it was just like, holy cow, like that was awesome. Like that almost took away a little bit of focus from the game, and everybody was paying attention to that.
That's crazy. I never knew that you guys actually paid attention to the beer snake like mid game that much. That's
Yeah.
that's comical. And then I mean the best part about that is you have the commissioner of the league, Oliver Luck, adding to the beer snake. In what other league? Roger Goodell would never, right?
No. Gosh, no, he would not.
And then, man, that was a blast. But the fans as a whole were, it was a very pleasant surprise seeing the support of everyone throughout the league. And then you guys did have the game in St. Louis with, that was probably, at least watching on TV, that sounded like the loudest stadium in the XFL. So what was it like being able to be back in St. Louis, playing professional football in St. Louis and being in that sort of atmosphere?
So St. Louis, we never actually got to go to St. Louis. St.
Oh,
Louis
sorry,
came to
that was a home game. My bad.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. But even then, that was as loud as our stadium got.
Mm-hmm. And then, do you have a favorite? Of course, your Ali Stadium is probably going to be your favorite, you know. But do you have a favorite place that you went to, a favorite stadium that you're able to visit?
Tampa Bay when we played against the Vipers. It's just one of those stadiums that it's awesome to be at. It's a great atmosphere. The weather seems like it's always nice there. The grass is great. I just loved everything about it there in Tampa.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I don't want to rub salt in the wound, but at least you're able to enjoy something from that game because probably wasn't the
Yeah,
best
exactly.
one. And
It
then
wasn't the best one for us, but the stadium was awesome.
that's all that matters. If you find that silver lining, you know.
Yep, exactly.
And then, so was it interesting just like, what was your biggest takeaway, I think, from the inaugural season of the XFL?
My biggest takeaway is that I deserve to be there and that I deserve to be at the next level. There's a certain amount of humbleness that you need to have, and
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of take it with a grain of salt. And you work so hard to get to a spot, and I worked crazy hard just to get to the XFL, and then I think
Yeah.
in the XFL I proved that I deserve to get the next step up to the next level. And I thought I proved it, and I thought I deserved it, and that's kind of what we're working for now. And that was kind of one of my biggest takeaways is, what I put myself in a spot where don't get ahead of yourself, don't boast too much of what's going on, keep your head down and keep working. But I did my thing there, and right now I think I deserve a chance to get to the next level for sure.
100%. I totally agree with you there. Stats don't lie. And then part of that was going into the season, there were a lot of people worried about the talent level in the XFL. But I believed it from the get-go between the coaches and the actual players there. A lot of guys that had NFL experience, fringe roster players, CFL guys as well. And so what was it like being able to actually have, I guess it surprised some people, but it didn't me, but what was it like, realizing that, yes, this is a legitimate professional football league and we're all very talented athletes?
I mean, to be able to be in a room with more than 10 guys who have been drafted in the first round and who have been there and kind of learning from their experiences and what they've come from, the talent level was out the window. I mean, it was a small step down from what the NFL was, but man, we had a lot of guys on that team that can play,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to prove again that they deserve to be at the next level, either again or for the first time.
Then to kind of speak off of that, then what was the locker room culture like? Because I'm sure almost everyone walked around with a huge chip on their shoulder because not
Mm-hmm.
only I mean it's an honor to be able to be a professional football player in the XFL, but the ultimate goal is to make it to the big time, make it to the NFL. So did that kind of have a carry, and you kind of felt that in the locker room?
Yeah, we had a great locker room. We had a great bunch of guys, and they couldn't have made the experience any better. And again, everybody's goal was, let's win, because when you win, you make more money.
Yeah.
So let's go make some more money and invest in ourselves, and let's try and get back to where we deserve.
Exactly. And then if we want to stay on the locker rooms for a second, can we kind of talk about the Bud Light Seltzer parties?
Yeah, it was basically when you win, you walk into a giant tub that just had all the Bud Light seltzers, man. It was a free for all. It was, a lot of people double fisted, and it was everybody's doing the Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was awesome. It was a shower before the shower, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's the best. It was amazing. It was like a champagne celebration every single week, and especially one of the DC Defenders fans, the guy that went to the games with the Bud Light Seltzer box on his face. He's a legend,
Yeah,
100%. DC definitely had
yeah,
a
big
cast of
time.
fans. And then
Yeah.
maybe not as a player, but as someone just observing the league, what do you think was the best thing that the XFL brought to football?
I think it brought some excitement. I think it brought another level where the fans get involved, and it's it wasn't as boring as what people thought, and there was it was kind of a league of its own. There were so many things that it went against the laws of nature of what the NFL is. Not going out of your shell, and not no beer involved, and clean cut and everything like that. But it was definitely a league of its own.
I think you kind of just hit the nail on the head with that one. And then if you can go back and kind of change any rules or procedures or any other aspect of the XFL is there something that you'd like to see change?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Yeah, shoot. I don't really see anything else either. I'm sure. Oh, I was so happy more relieved to hear The Rock being one of the owners of the XFL. Of course, your goal right now is to make it to the NFL. So what's
Yeah.
that process been like for you?
It's, we are working out, we're training, and we're trying to get a hold of anybody and everybody that would, listen that has to do with the NFL. We're ready. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we can all do our part to help Tyler make it to the NFL. Just get attention on them, because I swear, after every single missed kick, I was just thinking, sign Tyler. You want to sign Tyler? Gostkowski, miss all that. Hey, but it must be a encouraging sign for you, right? Saying, I guess, poor kicking play, because, hey, give me a shot, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what we want.
And then, so of course, what we can do, I'll link all your stuff, of course, but once you are done listening to this, follow Tyler on Twitter, and then just every time a team misses a field goal at the NFL, at that team, sign Tyler, okay? Just get the hashtag trending, right? So just kind of to cap it off, like we mentioned, your goal is the NFL, but just like just in case that the NFL teams are dumb enough and they don't sign you for whatever reason, can we see you back in the XFL, hopefully in 2021, when The Rock retakes the league, and hopefully we get this show rolling again?
If the NFL does not, I would love to go back.
Would you just be hoping for DC, or does it not matter?
I would love to go back to see DC if the opportunity was there.
Then if we want to talk about the opportunity, your opinion on The Rock, where do you think he'll take the XFL?
Oh, man, I think he'll take it as far as he can go with it. Because everything he touches pretty much just turns to gold, man, and he's the best thing for the league.
100%. I feel like that was kind of the thought process throughout the league once the news was made,
Yep. 100%.
All right. Yeah. Right. But there we go. Tyler Rausa, the amazing guy from California, worked his way through the JUCO. And can we get hashtag JUCO product in here? Because we all know what that's like. No one better. And then he's just a constant grinder. Did his time at Boise State. Great career there. Now he was going around AFL, XFL, now professional football player, and one of the best kickers that the XFL has ever seen. So we have to keep that in mind. Then everyone, I'll keep my fingers crossed, because I got to support my Boise State guys. Got to support the grinders. Got to support the JUCO guys. And then we will do our part to get you into try to get the recognition going. But Tyler Rausa, he's going to the NFL 2020. Believe it, right?
Let's do it.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much for your time today. Of course, everything will be linked. You can catch all of his information in the bio. And just shout out to the XFL. Great time. And we'll see you soon in the NFL, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you again.